Best.Podcast.Ever is sponsored by the Gertzberg Law Firm, an award-winning, full-service business law firm in Cleveland and Chagrin Falls that is changing the way businesses hire and pay for their attorneys. Go to gertzberglaw.com to learn more. While you're there, check out Cover My Six, a one-of-a-kind, complete legal audit of the 6 areas most likely to get a business sued or investigated. Lawsuits no longer have to be the cost of doing business. They are distracting, time-consuming, expensive, and with Cover My Six, often avoidable. Go to covermysix.com to learn how we keep your company safe. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to listen to the best podcast ever recorded.
Hi, Molly Gebler.
Hi, Alex Gertzberg.
How are you?
So good. So good. The sunset outside is unbelievable.
I know, right?
Oh, it's so gorgeous out there. Happy anniversary.
Oh my God, this is so exciting.
Here's a piece of paper that I got you for your for our anniversary.
Because it's paper?
It's 1 year. Yes, it's actually, we're a little past our 1 year.
It's hard to believe. Are you sure you don't want to do a 1 year toast?
No, I'll toast with coffee. I've got a...
I want to peer pressure you.
Business after this. I've got to present a check to the to Newberry for their Veterans Park, and I need to have my wits about me.
Lucid.
Can't be smelling like
I
booze.
can't believe we've been doing this for a year. That's craziness.
And it actually was in October, I think. So we're over our year. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
It's a big project. I think we've gotten a lot better at it too.
We've had almost 40 some guests. We're going to have a big, you heard it right here, a big 50th guest event, which will be super, super fun. Stay tuned for that, folks.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
I was about to ask you who your favorite guest was, but I think
can't do that.
No, you can't. It'll alienate some.
So you're choking a little bit, and you began to tell me. I said, wait.
I ate a pistachio.
Let's save it for the podcast. You ate a pistachio.
I'm not supposed to eat pistachio. I see that bag of mixed nuts over there?
I do.
I mistakenly just shoved a whole bunch down my throat when, in fact, usually I eat them one at a time to make sure that I don't get any pistachios in there.
Are you allergic to a pistachio?
Yeah, dude, before you got here, I was coughing my guts out.
It was
terrible.
So because this bag is small.
Yeah.
So I would assume that there's a lot of rubbing in the bag of nuts.
You think there's a lot of nuts being rubbed in that bag?
There's a lot of nut rubbing in that small little bag there.
Right.
And I would have to say that if you were allergic to them, you eating any of those nuts probably will be affecting you. So you shouldn't be...
You know, that's a great point, Molly. And I think from now on, I'm not going to have
those.
any of the nuts that were rubbed up against the other nuts
in the little bag. No. Oh, well, that's
really
danger.
Bad. Dude,
is your throat going to, should we call 911?
No, but it's just going to sound a little bit...
There's going to be a little hacking involved.
There might be a little hacking.
Because your eyes are all watery.
Yeah, right? I mean, just before doing our podcast, that's terrible. You know what that is? That's unprofessional.
Totally unprofessional, eating nuts beforehand.
What I tried today is mushroom tea. Have I told you about the mushroom tea yet?
You have not.
No, yeah. And I hate mushrooms. I can't. You know what I hate worse than mushrooms?
What?
Nothing.
I bet you I could think
mushrooms
of one thing.
are god awful, and I can't. But apparently, they have these amazing properties for immunization and for alertness. Well, so this particular mushroom, you get it at Whole Foods for way too much money.
Suckers.
I know. The people. So the company that makes it is called Four Sigmatic. Right, and I'd heard about it on this other podcast I listened to, and then I went on there online and I was reading, and people are like, "Yeah, you drink some of this mushroom tea, and when everyone around you is getting sick with the flu, you're going to be the last one standing." Right, and it gives you a lot of energy and focus in a way that coffee does, but without the crash, right? Which is a big problem for me because I drink a cup of coffee and an hour later it's nap time, you know?
Really?
So sure enough, I had 2 cups of this mushroom tea
And what
today.
does it taste like?
Well, it tastes like coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, it tastes like coffee. And it's mixed in with coffee, but just a little bit for
But
taste.
you're saying it's a tea, though.
It's a tea, yeah. And then last night I had this this other mushroom elixir that came in this variety pack, and man, it knocked me the heck out. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is I've been experimenting with mushrooms.
Obviously.
And so far, in general, I'm happy with the results.
Interesting.
But yeah.
I mean, everybody claims you've got wasn't it echinacea?
Echinacea, yeah. I don't think that stuff's any
flu
good.
thing?
I don't know if that's been proven by any science.
Oh, but this mushroom tea has.
Yeah, this mushroom, I don't know. I'm proving it to myself.
Oh, boy. Well, I've heard lately that people that have gotten the flu shot have really been knocked hard with the flu.
Really?
Yes.
So,
Now, I don't want to, let's not
Jenny McCarthy.
Let's not tell people not to go. I don't get the flu shot just because I can barely get to a doctor's appointment that I have to get to. But I've talked to like 5 different people who have just come off of a very nasty flu, and they all said that they just got the flu. I mean, the flu shot. So I'm just stating facts here. Just stating facts.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about those facts. Seems
It's.
you know.
I mean, I'm 5 for 5.
Really?
5 for 5. Yeah. Yeah. And we went out to lunch today, you and I, and we had a lovely meeting with Nellie about the podcast. And you were able to see my chair. Did that make you jealous? Did that make you
I was confused.
excited? So, folks, I got my own chair at Burntwood.
Yes.
It's a sign of respect.
Does it say Molly and John
It
Gebler?
says VIP Molly and John Gebler.
So it
yes.
says Molly before John.
It does.
That's interesting.
Very interesting. I think it was like a Molly. Oh, we should add John. No, John does. John is very supportive of Burntwood as well.
Well,
so.
it makes sense, Molly. I mean, you are a staple of Chagrin Falls. You're now an award-winning documentarian. You've got this incredible podcast.
True.
You're head of the Chagrin Valley Chamber. So when you speak, thousands, hundreds, if not thousands, of businesses and business
That's
owners.
not true.
and-
Only 19.
What?
Only 19 people listen to me.
No. That stat was not accurate. That was a fluke.
Well, thank you. That's very
Anywho.
kind. That's
No, it
very
makes sense.
kind.
It makes sense that you would have your own chair. In
It was
fact,
very exciting.
what
very
they ought to
exciting.
do, to be honest with you, is rename Burntwood after you.
Well, there's M, Italian. What do you think that stands for?
That makes perfect sense.
Yes. Any movies this weekend?
No, I went to see the Grateful Dead in concert in Columbus. Yeah.
The real Grateful Dead?
Well,
Are they
it's
missing
called
a
Dead
few
and
people?
Company. And the lead singer, who was Jerry Garcia,
Yes.
who died, was replaced by John Mayer. You know John Mayer, right?
I do know John
Dude,
Mayer.
that dude killed it.
That's what I've heard.
It's amazing.
Huh.
I've listened to his music before, and I always thought it was just kind of like this surfy, poppy stuff, which I enjoyed.
He's deep.
Man, he shreds the guitar. Holy crap, it was amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it blew my mind, and played my favorite Grateful Dead songs. Do you listen to Grateful Dead much?
I don't.
I bet you'd like him. I bet you'd like the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. On my way there, I was telling my friend Mike, who I went down there with, I said, I hope they play Ripple, and I hope they play St. Stephen. And sure enough, they played
They
both
did,
of those
just
songs.
for you.
Just for me.
Just
It was
for you.
awesome.
That's awesome.
What'd you do?
We saw Wonder. Is it Wonder?
You've
Did we
talked
talk
about
that?
this.
Is that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know.
You talked
what
about
my-
this last Monday,
Okay,
so
I don't
you must
know
have
where
seen
my
it before
time frame
Thanksgiving.
is here. Yeah, all is good. All is. I think I finally kicked into holiday mode.
Yeah.
I think once Thanksgiving's done, then the music comes on, and the tree comes.
Do
you guys have a tree?
Yeah, we get a Hanukkah bush. I'm remembering now. I'm remembering now.
That's what he said.
I don't know what that means. No, I think, I could be wrong, but I think that if you listen back to our first podcast a year ago, there may have even been a rant that I put out there about how people are always coming up to you and saying, "Are you ready for the holidays?"
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because
I think we have talked about that.
Yeah, I don't.
That's funny.
I really, I don't know. I don't understand the stress involved in holiday merrymaking. You know, it's like it's supposed to be the holidays and it's supposed to be fun, but just by virtue of the fact that everyone says, "Are you ready for the holidays?" means that it's stressful for way too many people.
Yeah.
Right? Between the traveling and the cooking and the gift buying, right?
Yes.
Jeez. That's why I'm screwed.
I was joking with your dad. I saw a picture of you guys on Thanksgiving, and you had the Molly selfie face.
I did?
Yes. It was a family picture. It wasn't even a selfie.
Molly, you've rubbed off on me
I
like
know,
that. Like
I
that
loved
pecan
it.
over there.
I loved it.
Oh, man.
It wasn't a pecan. It was a pistachio.
Oh, wait a second. That was the picture of me with the turkey. That was that face.
Okay.
Yeah, that was me.
I still feel like it was a family picture
Was
as
it?
well.
All right. Let's talk about
Yes,
man,
very
Andrew
exciting.
Connors.
Very exciting.
Yeah. So Andrew is a financial advisor and wealth manager, and I want to ask him what the difference between those two is, because there is a difference, and I heard somebody say that there's a difference, and I want to hear from him.
I'm going to give him a nickel. And then maybe touch base with him in a couple weeks and see how much he's grown that nickel.
Interesting. I think it's a great idea. He is a partner and senior advisor at Fairport Asset Management, vice president of the Northeast Ohio chapter of the Exit Planning Institute, which I would have thought had something to do with like right to die. It's not. It's about succession planning. Right? Exit planning, isn't that what you would think?
Yeah.
He is board president and a trustee for Esperanza Inc. And just an all-around good dude. We had some good laughs recently. He's got a belt buckle collection. That's belt buckle collection.
Yeah, we are going to dive into that.
How does one acquire a belt buckle collection, and why does someone want one? That's
the questions.
In fact, let's start there. Can we start there?
Yeah.
And then
are our phones on airplane mode, Chief?
Yeah. Well, my computer apparently isn't. And then what I was thinking we would ask him, Molly, is practical advice. Right. A lot of our listeners are business owners, and he's into succession planning, and I'd like to know what I, as a business owner, should know about succession planning and about wealth management. Right?
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes.
Should we get him in here?
Sure thing.
All right, let's get him in here.
Sure thing.
Andrew, this is Molly Gebler.
We have already met.
You met.
Yes.
That's right. I heard you guys saying in the hallway, why don't we just get rid of Alex and then we'll have a good podcast.
Yes, exactly. Yes, we have it all planned out.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
We've got it all.
Thank you for having me today.
Hey,
You're
thanks
welcome.
for coming. Thanks for coming.
Andrew, we have lots and lots of questions.
Is it Andrew? Is it Andy?
Drew?
What do you like? Drew?
Definitely not
Big
Drew.
A?
Definitely not Drew. Most people call me Andrew.
Andrew, okay.
Yeah.
He's keeping it formal. Keeping it formal.
Yeah.
A-Rod.
Oh, A-Rod's a good one.
Okay. Just let's call him that for this podcast.
A-Rod?
Yeah.
All right. So, A-Rod, the most important question that we have, and we've dug deep into your background, so we know everything.
Yes,
Beautiful.
You were just speaking with our crack research department outside, so she knows how to get information. And what we need to understand is why a belt buckle collection?
Who have you been talking to?
Are you denying the existence?
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Although he's not wearing one right
So
now.
I was born and raised in Texas.
Okay, well, that's 90% of the explanation right there.
Right,
Right there. And so a lot of
really.
people will ask, when I tell people that, they're always shocked.
Yeah.
Like I was born, they just assume that if you're living Cleveland, that you've always lived here.
Well, obviously.
And so when I lived in Texas, my grandfather would come and visit every year from Ohio. And we'd go to the boot factory and we'd buy a pair of cowboy boots and then we'd buy a big belt buckle. Nice. And so that's something I always remember from my childhood growing up was, Grandpa comes into town, we get new boots and we get a belt buckle.
Nice.
Wow, that is a cool tradition.
And when you live in Texas, that is not necessarily an anomaly.
Okay. And
In Ohio, that's an anomaly, though. So if I were to wear that here, my wife would look at me and go, "What are you doing? You're not walking out of the house
sad you're
wearing
not
the belt
wearing
buckle."
it. I'm
Yeah.
so sad you're not coming
How
in.
many belt buckles do you have in your collection?
Not that many, really. There's maybe 4 coffee saucer-sized belt buckles.
That's not a collection.
No, that's not a collection,
I don't
really.
know.
We gotta get our
What constitutes a collection?
It's more than 4. Significantly more than 4.
Do you think?
Well, that's probably 4 more than most people in Northeast Ohio.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, hold on. Let's drill down a little bit. Do you wear these belt buckles ever?
Generally, no.
Okay.
Well, that's still okay.
Are they displayed anywhere?
No.
Do you?
I'm totally going off.
We're getting less and
airplane.
less exciting real quick.
Well, I'm trying to. I'm not sure this is a collection. I'm just saying. I'll throw this out there. Whoever is out there saying that you have a belt buckle collection, you might want to say.
I think it was one person heard that I have some belt buckles, and it turned into, wow, he has a collection.
Do you collect anything, Alex?
Yeah, I do. Concert tickets that I've been to.
Oh.
Yeah. I've got
Okay.
hundreds.
Okay.
And I
Do you
keep
display
them.
them?
I do. I
Okay.
do. I keep them in books, and I put notes next to them, like what my favorite things about that concert were. I think that might be it.
That's impressive.
I
That's right up there with your gratitude journal.
yeah.
I hope I get in the gratitude journal today.
You've been in it before, Molly.
I know.
Yeah. Do you collect anything?
My mother started collecting salt and pepper shakers for me years and years and years and years ago. So I have, because my dad collected when he was little. So I have his collection and my collection, but I don't display them.
You collect those weird cups and plates with those.
Oh, my
weird-
Wedgwood. I
Wedgwood.
wouldn't consider that weird. Wedgwood is a top-of-the-line china.
Isn't it have those people's faces
Oh,
on
the
them?
Toby jugs. Again.
Toby jugs.
At $700 a pop, I wouldn't necessarily be
That's an investment.
shunning them as you are doing, but
Toby jugs.
Toby jugs. Yes.
You don't think they look a little bit weird?
Well, that's what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they. But obviously not as good as your ticket collection.
No. Listen, that's weird. My ticket collection is weird in itself. I think we're all a little bit weird. Some of us collect belt buckles. Some collect Toby jars. Some collect.
If somebody
Jugs.
doesn't have a little weird in
yeah,
them,
Oh, we
they're
don't want to
probably
be
not
around
that
them.
much fun or interesting.
boring.
We don't want to be
Exactly,
around them.
exactly.
Yes. So I tried to look up collection,
Yeah.
and all it kept putting me into collections,
Right.
which is a great segue to our guest.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have him, that's where you're going to end up in collections.
That is an interesting segue, Molly.
Thank you. Worked
I
on
was
that
wondering
all
where you were
night.
going with that.
Worked on it all night.
Speaking of collections, let's talk about wealth management.
Yes.
First, wealth management versus financial advisor. What's the difference?
So I think the best compliment that we tend to get from clients is when someone says, so you're not really a financial advisor. And the first couple times somebody would say that, or even whenever anyone says that, I always like asking, so explain that to me. Where's that coming from? And generally, most people's perception of a financial advisor is, here, I have these investments. I need some help. help me get my arms around what I'm missing or how do I do things better. And it's looking at somewhat of a narrow slice of what is really their true wealth. Whereas in our world, a true wealth manager is somebody who's going to look at their entire financial life. So you're really a financial life manager. So you may not be, it's a tax, it's legal, estate planning. It covers a whole, insurance. It covers a lot of different things. But it's much more comprehensive and holistic than just investment.
So you are a financial planner.
No.
Wealth.
Right? You're a wealth manager.
He's a certified financial
right?
Well, and this is a challenge in our industry is as a consumer, you say, well, what's the difference between a wealth manager and a financial advisor? And there's all these terms out there. And which one do I need? And it all sounds like this hodgepodge of confusion.
When you have no money, which neither are important, right? No, that's
Generally,
not true. If I have a nickel, you can make it more, right?
A nickel's easy. That's easy to double.
Oh, okay. Woo!
I could double that right now in my pocket.
Do you consider yourself a wealth manager?
Yes.
All right, that's what I thought.
Yes.
Yeah. So a financial advisor tends to be more limited to like investments. Right?
Correct. That's how in our world. That's how we would think. Yes.
Right. And whereas a wealth manager, you said estate planning, it's insurance, it's tax.
It's anything that is going to impact someone's net worth.
Yeah. Business ownership.
Exactly.
Right?
How do you transfer a business? How do you maintain wealth? All those things that are going to impact.
Isn't it usually with somebody who already has a substantial amount of money?
Generally, yes. So there are people who might have a little
money.
bit more of a complicated net worth or a larger net worth, and there might be some pieces and parts that might move around there over their lifetime. And
could someone come to you and say, I don't have anything yet, but I'd like to acquire enough wealth to need you one day? Can you help me with that? Has that ever happened?
So a lot of times what clients will ask us to do is sit down with their kids. Or they'll say, hey, I have this brother or I have a sister, and they're in a completely different financial situation than I am. But can you just spend some time talking with them? And they're not going to listen to me. So if you could talk to them and just give them some perspective and some pointers on what they need to be getting right, what's meaningful.
Do you do that for them?
Very frequently,
Okay,
yes.
so give us two
And usually
of those.
this time of year, because a lot of family members are getting together, families are getting together, so there's a lot of these meetings that
Talking
take
about
place.
that.
We need to get
Yeah.
you with Jacob and Ethan Gertzberg and have a little chit chat. But
But
what would you?
give me a few of those examples, a few of those tidbits that would be helpful for someone who wants to get to you one day.
So I'll give you a perfect story. So there's a client, and he said, my son graduated medical school. He met his wife in medical school. They both have cumulatively all of their loans from medical school still outstanding. And I don't think they really fully appreciate how that's going to impact their lives. And he said, I could write a check and pay all this off for them, but I'm not going to do that. And, when we think about who's our ideal clients, it's people who put family first, but also values, and what are your family's values is really important. And so in this case, this gentleman's a self-made guy, and he wants his kids to be self-made also. He wants his kids to have an I earned it mentality. Mm-hmm. And so we sat down with this newly married couple, and I almost felt I was a little surprised at their lack of understanding of what it meant to have the level of debt that they had outstanding and how that was going to impact their lives. And so they're talking about buying a house, and they're looking at this house on Lake Road in Bay Village together, beautiful house, and, everything has a boundary regardless of how much net worth you have. Right. And so understanding, well, this decision of buying this house is going to put you in what kind of financial position down the road, and these loans, which are accumulating at a uncomfortable interest rate. Right. How do we tackle all these issues? And so we kind of quickly put a plan together of understanding what do their cash inflows look like, how much should be going towards their debt, and so on. And I think for them it was a pretty empowering, life-changing meeting, because you come to those forks in the road of life, and whether it's personal decisions or financial decisions, and you say, okay, I'm going to choose option A.
Yeah.
And maybe if you would have chose option B, you look back 5-10 years down the road and you say, wow, that would have been the complete wrong choice, but nobody was there to help me understand that.
But here's the thing about that, right? Is it difficult, or is it easy to get young people to look 10 years down the road and internalize that need, right? Right? Because, and here's why I asked that question. Let me set it up. Let me set up that question.
Go ahead.
Right? So when I got out of law school, I went to work for a big law firm, right? And when they told me how much money I was going to make, I thought they were joking, right? It was more money than I'd ever seen or imagined that I would see in a law, for years and years. I was in the Army at the time, drilling with my reserve unit, and I came in, and my captain, who knew that I had this interview, said, "Did they offer you what you thought they were going to offer?" And I said, "No, way more." Right? And I told him, and he goes, "Dude, right now, take 20 to 30% of all of that and just sock it away and give it to a broker, right? Or give it to somebody and forget about it, right? And don't think about it. That money is your future." And do you think I did that? Hell no. Hell no. Right? So I had these giant student loan debts, and I had a lifestyle that I felt now needed to be accommodated, right? With this, but that's my point, right? Is it a few years later, several years later, and at a cost of, so much opportunity lost, right? That it could have been compounding. I started doing that. But I mean, and I think I was a pretty smart guy, right? But I did not.
That's still out.
Well, I know. I like to tell myself that. Anyway.
The jury's still out.
But the point is, I definitely did not have that emotional connection to my future in the way that, like, my commanding officer, it was so obvious. It was so obvious to anybody, right? But it wasn't obvious to me. And so is that am I an outlier, or is that normal for?
No, I would say that's very normal. And just in life in general, it's great it's much easier to give people advice and see clarity in what other people should do.
Right.
But when you hold the mirror up to yourself,
it
gets very foggy very quickly. And it's hard to make those decisions which you think other people should have no problem with.
Well, so you said when you sat down with that couple, it was like a life-changing thing for them, right? Do you know how they invested their money afterwards? Was it, in fact, a complete change in how they were thinking?
So we sit down and have a big family meeting every year. And there's certain lessons I've learned throughout life, most of which have been taught to me by other people. And so I keep these almost isms as a running list now, and I call them Andrew's Commandments. And I have 47 of them now. And so one of my commandments is, it's not so much what you say, it's how it's heard. And so
true.
How you deliver a message, you got to know your audience, obviously. And so if you're talking to two young people who've just finished medical school, they've been through a residency and all of this, where are they? They are just eager to break out and do what they do. They look at it as, hey, I've paid my dues. I've been working hard and on call and working obscene amounts of hours. Now is when I should be, grabbing that brass ring and being rewarded for it. And so you have to be very careful how you deliver any message if you want it to resonate and have somebody act on it.
Right.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I think I'm definitely going to have you talk to my kids. What else what other advice would you tend to give to younger people about how to manage their futures?
Well, let's not forget, not everyone who has college debt is young. I've inherited my children's college debt.
Did I say young people? I meant people.
Yeah. I guess I'm still under that category, though.
Well,
so obviously, but I mean, you're in this day and age, the kids can't get loans. They don't get them in their own name. They're in your name.
Oh, no, it's post 2008. It's a different world. It's a very different world.
The interest rate came down, but the way to get it didn't. And especially even my daughter did Teach for America. And there was supposed to be bonuses that you get for doing that program. Well, I didn't get them because the loans were in my name, not in her name. So it's a start saving now. Yeah. That's all I can. That's all I can say.
So give us the top 5 of Andrew's commandments that someone interested in financial planning should hear.
So what should I tell? What I would tell a young person? You're saying,
or Molly?
Well, it's one and the same again.
Right. Well, I said young person, and you said or me.
What I'll say I find interesting is regardless of someone's net worth, whether they make, if it's someone's son or daughter, and they maybe have an intern and they're making $5,000 a year, or someone's making $500,000 or $5 million a year. Everybody knows what comes in the door. Nobody ever really knows where it all goes. Yeah. And so we have meetings with people who are, frankly, some of the most wealthy, successful people, and they'll say, I think I do really well. I just don't know where it all goes. And so I think it's very empowering to have how would you manage a business? Think of yourself as a CEO of your own business. And you wouldn't just have revenue coming in the door and spend it indiscriminately. Right. So really having an understanding of, how much of my money is going to fixed versus variable expenses. Do I own a lot of real estate or property that requires certain levels of expenses to maintain and so on? So, those are the kind of decisions if you're buying.
That is so true.
Yeah.
So, it's so true. Like you're saying, it goes out and we have no clue. But yet, if we were a business and you were looking at your sheet and you're red and you're like, well, what the hell? Every dime, if you're a small business, that's going out your door and where it went and who it went to. And why don't we treat our own selves like that? I'm going to start treating it now.
Well, for one thing, with a business, you'll have a bookkeeper, right?
Not in all businesses.
Right. Well, I guess what I'm saying is,
you should.
You
should do or you should.
Yeah, it takes an attention to detail that just takes time, right? Right. And with a business, I think I'm kind of trying to answer your question. I love not having to think about that, other than to have Beth put the P&L together and then give me a report, right? But I don't have a Beth in my personal life. Right. So, and I think that's probably one of the downfalls that people have is that they don't. It's that go towards pleasure and away from pain. Well, there's pain that people associate with. I got to track all my spending and I got to put it into categories and I got to get a fixed bucket and a variable bucket.
Let's be honest, Andrew. I think 1 or 2 months of reviewing, you're going to find out where your leaks are, right?
So technology plays so the comment you just made of, you're telling me I got to track my spending now, right. Really? And so generally people are going to only accomplish something that is doable. So how do we make it doable? Yeah. So we really leverage technology. So there's different technology platforms out there that can aggregate and organize all this. So clients don't really have to do any of the work. All the work falls on us and the technology that we use, and then we're able to come back and show them reports and say, hey, this is what it looks like. So if you're a business or as an individual and you're CEO of Gertzberg Inc., what does that look like? So what's your net worth? What are your liabilities on there? What kind of cash flow do you need to support this net worth? What kind of how should your net worth be growing and tracking over time? And how do you benchmark that?
Well, so do you have a favorite software that you like people to use to calculate all that?
There's a lot of stuff out there. Quicken has some different things. There's a financial portal that we use that essentially is a dashboard on one end that clients can log into and see, and we get unbelievable feedback on that. People really love the ability at 11 o'clock at night, I'm not calling Andrew. I just want to log in and see, what does my net worth look like these days? Yeah. And with all my retirement accounts, my real estate, my business, my trusts, all these things, to be able to see it all in one consolidated snapshot's really powerful. And it's easy, because it's easy, people will do it.
Go ahead, Molly.
One person, because I'm assuming these are people with net worth. what was the one person that had the most? What kind of numbers are we talking?
The biggest net worth, you mean?
That you've worked with.
I'm happy to answer that, I guess, but I don't know if it necessarily matters.
I'm just being nosy.
It's a lot.
Millions?
Is it an M or a B?
Not a B, but
Okay.
well into the. There's quite a few commas in some people's, but
Okay.
And you guide them to charities? Like, would that be something that you would do as well?
So I'll tell you, we spend a lot of time at our firm really thinking about who are the people who we can inspire and impact the most. And that's kind of our mantra at our firm is how do we inspire families? And so we have this very clear picture of what does our ideal family look like. And they are people, and so Alex, this might resonate with you, they're people who operate from a place of gratitude. They tend to be they're very family first focused, very values focused. They are very clear about what it means to have values and what it means to put family first. And then thirdly, they are very aware of their role in community, society, and understand that maybe because they've been blessed, they would like to have an impact on the world around them. And so that's very much that charitable thing.
How do you understand that? So this is a pretty intense first meeting then, so that you can get that information and make sure that they're falling into all the categories that that's personal stuff.
It's very personal stuff. Most of our clients, these are very really intimate relationships that we feel privileged to be a part of, really kind of a part of their family, is what it kind of amounts to at the end of the day. And this does not happen with the flip of a light switch. It very much evolves over time.
So
Very cool.
let's take a little detour here because what you
We're going back to belt buckles.
no, but the way you just described your ideal client is I go through a similar exercise here at the law firm, right? And I'm really interested to hear how you. So I call that the right fit client exercise, right? And actually, Jeff Hoffman was the first person I heard it from.
Great guy.
Yeah, he at the.
Call him back.
Oh, you're a terrible friend. I'm just joking. You're a great friend.
I know.
He was saying how at his talk that he did for the essay contest that first year how the best entrepreneurs who have succeeded and gone the farthest were able to crystallize in extreme detail who their ideal client was and be able to like describe him or her with color and flair and just like really flesh them out, right? And so I've tried to do that here. And I've been kind of working on like this scorecard to do that. And it really is a series of questions, but it's also a self-evaluation too, because I think how they perceive themselves is important. How do you get that right fit client that you just described?
So once a year, we as a leadership team and some of our other colleagues will sit down and we'll go through this exercise, and we have this template that we'll operate off of. And we'll think about, who are the clients that you would want to clone? Who are the families that you say, I meet with those people on Sunday afternoon, not because I have to, but because I want to, because they're just amazing families. Boom. Right there. You say, what is it about them that makes them amazing? What is it about them that makes us want to go, jump mountains and whatnot for them?
But then,
and there's these common themes that start to come out between these different families and people, and you say, that's it.
But
right
what do
there.
you do with that information, right? So now you know who your ideal client is, right? So what are you doing to attract them or to block out the wrong ones?
We probably do we could probably do a much better job of attracting than we do. We spend the majority of our time working with clients, not going out there like.
Get a lot of referrals though.
Pretty much almost all of our business comes from current clients.
Right.
And having your current ideal clients be gatekeepers for future ideal clients is a great way to weed out people who aren't a good fit. And there can be nothing more detrimental. If you're a business owner, think about it if you hire an employee and you know they might have some great, amazing quality. And there's this little voice that says, but I just don't know if I should bring them on board.
Yeah.
But you do because of this one quality. And you look back a year later and you say, that was a big mistake. We invested a lot of time and money, and now look where we're at. It's the same way with,
Can we go back then to
belt buckles?
No, practical advice, right? How about just practical advice for business owners who are, maybe in their first 5 years, they're starting to get profitable.
Well, are you business or are you personal, or does it matter?
So,
because maybe
I chair a practice group at our firm that works with a specific niche of usually business and specifically family-owned businesses. So we don't necessarily do business consulting,
right?
But we work with a lot of business owners, so you tend to have really good insights on how successful business owners operate. And as a owner and partner of Fairport, I help run this firm. I'm part of our executive committee, and so maybe it's not manufacturing, but there's certain best practice principles that carry over regardless of what kind of business you're in.
It's a service business, right?
Yeah.
It's so you probably have a lot of service business owners.
There's a couple.
Yeah. So what's your advice to them?
I think if you don't have an advisory board, you got to get one. An advisory board can be the highest return on investment you will make as a business owner. Almost every ideal business owner client we work with, if you were to ask them, they would say having an advisory board has made the difference in my business. And that's not the guys you golf with or, the guys you drink a beer with here and there. It's subject matter experts who've really maybe understand your business. And there's a lot of really successful entrepreneurs out there that maybe they've been down the road that you're on a number of times, and they have a lot of wisdom they can share. They're just looking for somebody to ask. And so we have a lot of these people as clients, so a lot of times we'll do matchmaking. So a client who might be saying, I think I'm ready to put an advisory board together, we might say, hey, there's a couple individuals we can introduce you to that I think would be really good people for you to get to know that could really help you kind of break through this ceiling that you've had.
And is that different than a board?
Yeah, a board is a fiduciary.
Okay.
An advisory board is more of a consultative, I think the challenge a lot of business owners face is they can hold employees accountable, but who holds them accountable?
Right.
And so having an advisory board is, that advisory board will really help hold the mirror up to you and help hold you as a business owner accountable. So I think that's a big thing a lot of business owners don't take advantage of. And why? Because it takes time to get it up and running. Now, there's people you can hire who you can outsource that and who will run those meetings for you, help understanding, putting together agendas, help you get the most out of it.
And you really have to be able to check your ego at the door when you have a good advisory board that's doing their job, right? I mean, you've got to be willing to show them how you do business in every way and where all your money goes, and you have to be willing to have them tell you.
That's such a funny joke. Can I say?
You have to throw this in.
I was going to say, Alex, you couldn't even get your ego in the door, let alone leave it there. I was just kidding, though. You know I'm kidding. You know I love you. It just was there.
That had to come out. You felt like that you needed.
Because it was just so good. I couldn't just leave it.
The door was wide open on that one.
I know. You were,
Oh.
That was hilarious, Molly. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be here all night.
All right. What were we talking about?
Best practices for business owners,
Best practices for business.
Okay, so personal. So let's do personal. Let's say, and I'm sure that the money you're dealing with people, but let's just say $500. Let's bring it down to me. So let's say someone has $500 extra a month. What would you suggest, or $1,000, or
whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
They
what
have
would
some
you
extra
suggest
cash
them
flow a month.
What would you suggest them to do with it?
So if you have extra amount of money, you say, is this how disposable is this extra cash flow that I have, and how am I doing in terms of saving? So are you saving 5% of your income every year, and this is some extra cash flow that you have? And if you're only saving 5% of your income every year, you gotta. You should probably really be ratcheting that up.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be the person also. A lot of times we encourage clients, tomorrow's never promised. So you got to balance that for living for today. And actually a good friend of mine, that's kind of one of his sayings.
Right.
So true.
We encourage clients to say, you can't take this with you. So what are you going to do? What experiences, what impact do you want to have with your wealth?
Well, when you come to one of those clients who you say you can't take it with you, you can always say Molly has her kids' college debt.
Exactly.
If you want to,
let me put you in touch with Molly.
Yes,
She's
let me make a
great
connection
human
for
being.
you. She might be good for your advisory board. And she's got some Dayton and Kent debt.
Right. Should we go to the lightning round?
Alex, it's your show. Oh, no it's not. It's our show.
Molly's really on a roll today. I don't know what it is.
Oh, my goodness. It was at lunch. It was at lunch.
Lightning round questions.
Boom.
Yes.
Lightning round questions. You ready?
As ready as I'll ever be, I guess,
right.
yeah.
Molly, you want to go first?
What is on your mind? What's weighing heavy on your mind?
How I'm going to get through the holidays.
Just
That's
talking
weighing
about
on
that.
my
We were
mind.
just talking about that. So that's stressing you out. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
it
not allowed
is.
to ask that, right? I'm
So-
supposed to go to my next
So
one.
I feel like this has been a very formal conversation up to this
No.
point, and
Yeah,
not
it's gonna
necessarily
get nasty.
personal.
It's
Yeah.
going to get personal.
And so we always, every year, I come into this time of the year, and we just put holiday decorations up in our office. And as I was leaving to come here, I could smell the pine, and it smelled good.
Getting you there.
And I said to my colleague as I was walking out, I said, this is starting to get me there. And so you kind of enter the holiday season with these expectations, and the bar gets raised kind of with every preceding day.
That's exactly-
And then
my
suddenly,
Jewish friend over here is
and then
not
suddenly
getting
you
it.
get the, well, why are you seeing his family and not our family? You spent more time with them than us.
Yep.
And it gets to be about everything else and not about the things that are really
Yeah, it
important. And
does.
I always say next year I'm going to try and do my darndest
This is the
to
year for
approach
you,
this
Andrew.
differently.
This is the
and it
year.
never seems to work out that way.
I have faith in you. I have faith. Yeah, Alex, it drives him crazy when people say, "Are you ready? Are you ready for the holidays?"
Yeah. The holidays should not be something that you have to get ready for.
You got to psych yourself up.
Yeah.
Got to put on your holiday
It's
armor.
nonsense.
You have
It's
to
nonsense.
sniff the pine.
Yeah.
All right,
Sniff
so
the pine.
second lightning round. What are you binging on TV?
So my kids watch Stranger Things.
Okay,
Yeah, my kids like that
that's a
too.
popular one.
And so
There's a second season now. apparently.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little bit of X-Files meets I'm not sure what else.
Like Stand By Me or something.
Yeah, actually, that's a great way. It's like X-Files meets Stand By Me.
Yeah. Have you been watching that? Have you been watching Stranger Things?
we binge watched it over the weekend, actually.
Interesting. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
All right.
The whole throwback to the 80s.
I've heard that's
It's very, very, very time-based, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Young Jacob Gertzberg loves the Stranger Things. Both bless you, Molly. Jeez,
Bless you, bless you.
Thank you.
What have you been binge watching?
I've been.
I'll ask you a question.
I've been binge reading the autobiography of Nelson Mandela.
Or-
Okay, that's interesting. That sounds kind of heavy.
It's awesome. It's a great, great, great read. I love it. I love it. I can't put it down.
So if you like reading heavy books, read
Yeah.
David and Goliath.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Malcolm
Yeah,
Gladwell. Anything he writes, I generally think
Yeah.
tends to be great because it causes you to
Yeah.
shift your perspective and challenge your thinking on things. And
I
I
don't
love
read.
books that do that.
I don't
Audio
read.
books.
Yeah, I
you
guess.
would love Malcolm Gladwell stuff on audio. Yeah. You're right. He definitely shifts your thinking.
So I take my kids to school in the morning, and so I listen to this book on audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
And you always wonder, like, do my kids ever even listen to what I'm saying? And so we're having this conversation over the weekend at Thanksgiving. And so we listened to this book on audiobook like 3 months ago, and my son starts talking about one of the lessons that he gleaned from this audiobook. And I had one of
he
those
does
holy
listen.
cow moments.
Yeah.
We got through.
Yes. I hope you weren't listening to Helter Skelter or something,
Right.
because that wouldn't have been a good lesson.
From our last episode.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a
Did you
good
ever read
lesson.
Helter Skelter?
Have not, no.
Oh my goodness,
Don't
it's the
do it.
scariest book you'll ever read in your life.
Don't do
Frightening.
it. I think it's your lightning.
Yeah,
round
it is.
questions. I'm not binging. I'm into Hallmark movies now.
Are you?
Christmas. Yeah, I finished West Wing.
Right.
And now, just in time to get into my Hallmark holiday shows.
Well, those are all tearjerkers.
Oh, Love them.
Like-
you know exactly what's going to happen, but it doesn't matter.
Are they on the Hallmark Channel?
Yes, on the holiday Hallmark channel. There's 2
Oh, is that
Hallmark
right? They
channels.
I
splintered
learned
off?
something today.
Yes, yes.
splintered
There's
off. There
a
was
couple
such a
different
demand.
Hallmark channels. One that just has regular Hallmarks.
Wow.
But yeah.
Andrew, if you were stranded on a desert island for at least 3 months and you could only bring one musician's entire discography, which musician's discography would you bring?
That's a good question. So would I want beach music, a la Jimmy Buffett, or would I be just surrounded by beach and overwhelmed with that?
Layers of analysis there.
Layers of analysis.
Very
I could go
complex.
deep down a rabbit hole with this one, but
Yeah.
I'd probably say Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah?
I would
like
just
it.
Get you in
go
a good mood?
all in.
Sure.
Be like,
I
if I'm
love
here
it.
on this beach, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna damn straight.
pop a flip flop and go all in.
I
That's
love
such a
it.
great. That's a great point. Like, I mean, yeah, stay positive, right?
Yeah, be happy.
You can't be in a bad mood and listen
Nope.
to Jimmy
No.
Buffett. It just
The only thing is, I'd want to start boozing. You know, that should be one of the premises to the question: is there alcohol on the
Right.
Or you
island?
can say
Right.
there's a treasure trove of rum left over from some pirate ship.
Right.
I think with some of the other, I mean, alcohol would be important if you were listening to, Led Zeppelin would need some alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be groups that would need alcohol. But Jimmy, I think you could enjoy just in general.
Yeah, no, but that's a really good. I like the way you backed into that answer because, like, Tom Waits is one of my favorites, but he's so depressing, right? That would shorten my stay on that island, right?
You're like, I'm gonna go swim with the sharks and see
Yeah.
how long this lasts.
Hanging
Jimmy
from a
Buffett, on
coconut
the other
tree.
hand, you'd probably live longer.
I love that.
You'd see the silver lining in everything after a couple Buffett songs.
I love it.
I think you're right.
I love it.
Andrew, same question, but now, and same island,
Okay.
but now it's it's one author's entire library.
I'd probably say Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
So it's entertaining, thought-provoking, introspective. So if I'm sitting on an island and I'm thinking
Listening to Jimmy
about,
Buffett.
when I get out of here in 3 months, when
Right.
that ship comes by and rescues me, how am I going to do things differently when I go back to the world?
You know, I
And
totally,
maybe I don't do anything differently, but I think it causes you to kind of have a little bit of shift in your outlook and your attitude.
Well, now to be clear, it's at least 3 months. You
Okay.
under this scenario, you actually don't know if you're ever going to get off the island. You only know that it's going to be at least 3 months.
I'd probably still pick Malcolm Gladwell.
Okay.
And it's I feel entertaining, yet still
Yeah.
it's not still I'm getting educated while I'm reading.
Probably
it.
keep your brain
So it's a
sharp.
balance of both.
Right.
It's keep me sharp and on the ball, yet still still entertaining.
Andrew, our final lightning round question is what is an embarrassing thing about yourself that no one else knows?
Or something you did. I know we.
Either way. I really thought he was going to spit the wine out. Like you timed the
You
wine
had
drink.
hopes.
So
And you can't say belt buckles.
But it could be
that
like
probably would be it, because everyone in the office,
is.
all my colleagues,
That
when they
is
heard about my
funny.
belt
They
buckles,
don't-
thought I was looked at me a bit odd.
That is
But
funny.
I guess to be embarrassed
Yeah.
requires you to give power to other people over you.
Oh, wow.
And so I had this shift in my outlook on life many decades ago, where I was an extremely shy, introverted person, painfully so. And my parents had me in therapy, and I was subjected to different tests, not subjected, but, different tests and whatnot to see, what's
Electroshock
what's
and-
wrong with our son exactly. And one day I just kind of said, and actually my son has this quote, which I think is very applicable. And he says, "It doesn't matter if you fit into a group as long as you fit into your own skin." And so
Your son came up with
my
that?
13-year-old son came
a
up with that.
genius.
Yeah, that should be on a pillow.
And so he's working on a school project right now. And I said, "Where'd you come up with that quote?" And he goes, "Well, we had to make up a quote and write something about it." And I said, "You came up with that?" And he goes, yeah.
I would visit Alex's office right now and get that copy right.
And I would say he is my wife is an amazing mom because she obviously must have done something right because I don't know if that came from me.
Wow.
But
that's amazing.
One day I kind of had this epiphany moment where I just said, I just don't really care what people think. And if my happiness is going to be determined by that, and I would spend a lot of energy up until that point in my life thinking about what people thought or didn't think. And then one day I just stopped giving that energy.
Here.
But I would say an uncomfortable moment, maybe, and if we're looking for some comedic levity.
I was going to revise the question in light of your answer, but go ahead. You've done it already, so please.
Okay. So there was a client I was going to see in Worcester. And we had just had our twins. We have twin boys. And so this was 13 years ago, and they'd been born a couple months prior to that. And so I'm going to this client. We have this great meeting, and we're going to grab dinner afterwards. We're going to grab dinner, and I get pulled over in Worcester.
Nice.
In my wife's car.
Oh, boy.
And not that it's her responsibility to update the tags, because given that she just had twins, that should have fallen on me and did fall on me. But given that I don't drive the car, didn't think about it.
Why point fingers? Really?
The finger always ultimately gets pointed back at me.
Right.
Damn
so
straight.
you know you're wrong. So I spent a good 45 minutes on the side of the road pleading with this police officer why he should just write me a ticket and let me go with his client sitting in the car. And I thought this is going to go one of two ways. This gentleman is either going to think this is hilarious and never let me forget this, or the other end of the spectrum. And so thankfully it went to he thought it was hilarious and has never let me forget it.
Nice.
End of the spectrum. But at the moment, that was one of these, you got to be kidding. I can't believe this is happening to me. And I ended up having to go back to Worcester to court to explain to the judge why my ticket or why the tags on our plates were 3 months past due.
Oh, my gosh. And the client's in the car.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a good story.
That's a good one.
I've been listening to this audiobook. Nellie, you're going to have to bleep out a word here. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F***. Have you heard of this book?
I think somebody in this room might have...
Did I mention it to you?
I think I told you about that.
Did you tell me about it?
Yeah, when we had dinner a couple months ago.
All right.
From Mark Manson.
Mark Manson, that's it.
So actually, I'd maybe almost go back and revise my question. If I'm on the desert island, it'd be a coin toss between Mark Manson and Malcolm Gladwell.
Well, that book is awesome, and it really describes your life philosophy from a minute ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great book. You should listen to that one. I'm listening to that, and it's outstanding.
I don't even have a. I guess you get it on your phone now, right? The audiobooks.
I use this app called Scribd, which is like $8 a month for all the books you can read. And
you told me about that.
Did I?
Thank you. Yes.
That would be wasted.
Your memory is so much better than mine. From anything, apparently.
I tend to remember a lot of not important things.
I won't be offended by that, I promise. This has been, what have we learned today, Molly? This has been really educational. We learned about the difference between a wealth manager and a financial planner.
Yes.
I feel like we hovered around the question of whether 4 belt buckles is a collection, but I'm not sure we ever got closure on that.
I feel
I'd
it
say
is.
no.
Not a collection?
It is.
Not quite.
Molly says it is.
If you're proud of it, then it's a collection.
All right.
If they were Fabergé eggs, that might be a collection. If I had 4 of those, that'd be a collection. But they're not Fabergé belt buckles, so.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's not a collection. What else did we learn? We learned that. One thing we didn't learn, but I wanted to ask you about. You're the vice president of the Northeast Ohio chapter of the Exit Planning Institute. And
would you like to know what Alex thought that meant?
Well,
let's hear it.
Well, I want to know if I'm the only one who thought that exit planning might refer to like end of life decisions.
So no, it's a group for business owners in terms of, and especially one of the big challenges business, especially family business owners face is, so how do I transition this largest asset that I have? How do I either get my son or my daughter involved? How do I mentor them and guide them so they can be good stewards of this company that maybe another
Right.
prior generation owned. So that's what that
Not
group is.
about euthanasia at all.
No euthanasia
Not
in there.
at all.
And
No,
is-
nothing Kevorkian related.
Is that
yeah.
something that, like your estate planning? I mean, is there a paperwork that you fill out? Is there? Do you go to a seminar to figure that out? The exit planning, and it's also called something else, right?
Succession
Yes.
planning.
Right.
Like, is there a process for that, or just somebody just has to meet with the owner and they figure it out together?
I would say it's definitely more of the latter. So
Okay.
as an owner, what mindset do you look at your business with? And so how do you kind of try and look over the horizon and say, where is this going? Where do I want it to go? I want this to go so that my son and daughter, so it's perfect example, timely today, client who owns a company here in Chagrin. He wants his son and daughter to take over the business. And it's not a function of how do we avoid taxes in terms of getting that business ready for his kids to take over, but how do we make sure his kids, in this case, are really ready to take over
Yeah.
the business? And that's the critical issue in his case that we're dealing with.
Do they work for the business?
They do.
That's a good start, right?
Maybe.
When are the little Gertzbergs going to start working here so that you can exit?
Well, we're going to be doing a job interview of Jacob Gertzberg on next week's podcast,
I'd like
Molly.
to. Yes, that is true.
Oh, that'll be
That
exciting.
is true. We're going to find out what it's like to be a preteen.
Right, a middle schooler. Yours are 13?
Yeah, 13.
That-
Goes
yeah.
by fast.
Yeah, it does.
Uncomfortably so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been educational.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
love
having me. You
it.
guys love talking to you
It's
guys.
fun. It's easy.
We
right?
appreciate you coming down, Andrew. This has been awesome. And are you working on anything that you'd like our 57 million listeners to know about?
The 57 million. Well, now I feel nervous.
I should have told you that up front.
Yeah, you probably should have.
Yeah.
No, we have this program at our firm called Minding Your Business.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting how we got to this. So we ended up interviewing, this is going back, I want to say about 2 years, but it took about a year to do this, where we sat down and interviewed 123 family-owned business groups and really kind of got under the hood of what makes their businesses tick, what makes their families tick. And we have, from that, has been born this program that a couple chambers and business owner groups have asked us to come and kind of share the results for this of, what are those ingredients to success for these
Right.
families? And I guess what's been most interesting about that is getting under the hood of these families, so sitting in a room with these families and hearing about what their dreams and goals are and what some of their challenges have been and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's been really awesome.
That's interesting.
I love the title.
Where would one find a Minding Your Business? Is it an episode? Is it a blog? Is it a program?
they-
So-
Seminar?
On our firm's website,
Okay.
to do a shameless plug,
Please, we love those.
fairportasset.com. There is I like to call it a thought paper that you can download called Charting Your Trajectory. So you're a family business owner, how do you chart your trajectory? And they can download that on our website. And that has a lot of the findings and direct information that we got out of having these discussions with these 123 families.
Very cool.
Fairportasset.com, folks. Molly, what are you working on?
You know what? Just getting ready for
Getting
the
ready for the
holidays.
holidays.
I'll check that box too.
Good luck with that.
Yes, that's pretty much it here. And the ugly holiday sweater is what I'm working on.
What is that? What does that
the
mean?
holiday party for the chamber. The
Oh, that's right, because you give it
ugly
away.
Christmas sweater.
Do you give it away?
No, you wear it.
You're working on one that you're going to wear?
No, I'm working on that event.
Oh, this is like a party for the chamber, and people come
which is
wearing
seasonal, so we'll
Do you
get
get
in
a
trouble
prize
for
if you have
that.
the ugliest
Yes,
sweater?
You do.
What do you get?
another ugly sweater.
We haven't gotten that prize yet. I know it's a bottle of wine. I just don't know what the other thing is. Probably a gift certificate to a restaurant. So you better wear an ugly one.
I feel like I only have ugly Christmas sweaters year round.
Well, then you better wear it.
I will. And
What
then,
about you, Alex?
Well, the essay contest is in full swing. Are you going to read
Absolutely.
some essays?
I would
Andrew?
love to read some essays. I think that is awesome what you
Thank
guys
you.
do here for around
fun.
that essay contest. That's really exciting. So I would love. I know we talked about it
Yeah.
when we had lunch, and I'd love to be involved
That's
with that.
two
Good.
people today that we need to make sure. Nellie, Bill, and Andrew. Bill from Burntwood and Andrew.
Yeah. Start
those on the
harassing them
list.
to read essays.
Yes.
Are there a bunch of people at Fairport Asset?
I'm sure we could have a couple people that would be very interested in
Representing.
and say, "Wow, this is a great, neat idea. I'd love to do
Where
that too."
is
Rachel read
Fairport?
them last year, I believe. Rachel Margolis, your friend. my friend.
Rachel's one of our best. And
She's good people.
I'm sure I could ask her, and she would gladly read some essays.
Where are you located, by the way?
We are in Playhouse Square in downtown on 14th and Euclid.
Okay.
I love being in Playhouse Square. Great,
I bet.
Great, vibrant, neat energy area.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I dig it too.
Very cool.
Little bit of a schlep from here, right? But
Yeah,
Do
there's
you
a bit
live
of a
around
schlep.
here?
So I live in Chesterland,
yeah,
Okay.
and I make the 40-minute commute.
Yeah, because you have to go all the way to Mayfield Road. There's no easy.
So, and I think that's interesting. So I have a lot of brothers that live in other large cities around the country, and I have the shortest commute.
Really?
And so if I were to whine to them, they would say, "Really?"
You
Right.
sissy.
Whereas if you're here in Cleveland and
Yeah.
you tell somebody you have a 40-minute commute, they're like, "Really?" They're like, "How do you do that?"
Right.
Or if my parents live in Avon Lake and it's like, "Really? You go out there and see them like twice a month? Really?"
Well,
And not being from here originally, I mean, I've lived here for 30 years almost at this point, but it still hasn't sunk in,
Yeah.
I guess, apparently, that's a big deal.
it's that same philosophy when you go to New York. You'll walk anywhere, but when you come home, you can't even walk to your
Right.
neighbor's house
Right,
without
right.
complaining. Oh,
True.
boy.
All true. All
Well,
right.
great.
This was awesome. Andrew, thank you very much. Molly,
Thank
you
you,
very much.
Andrew.
Thank you both.
Alex.
Thanks, folks. We'll see
Have
you
a
next
great
time.
night.
Bye.